All right, we are here with Jake.
Yes, Jake Solomon, lead designer, Xcom, Enemy Unknown.
That's right. Jake will talk your ear off about XCOM Enemy Unknown. That's because he really, really, really likes XCOM.
Right.
Is that right? Is that accurate?
Yes, that's my job. There's no designer in the world who does not enjoy talking about his own game. So I could do this for days.
All right.
A marathon session of this. That's fine. Yeah.
All right. So let's start off by especially Sasha doesn't know a lot about XCOM.
I actually don't know a whole lot about XCOM. This is kind of yes.
Boo. I'm just kidding.
I know.
Feel free.
Why don't you just explain? Picture that it's 1989. No.
1989. I like that. Toto is their #1 hit. Africa is playing on the radios, and
oh man,
Miami Vice.
He's setting the mood.
Yeah.
So let's tell us what the history of XCOM is, and kind of the getting to this point of making this game.
Yeah, okay, so the original came out in 1994, which was my senior year of high school. So if you do the math, like 70 years old to everybody who plays games. But that was my favorite game. From then, it has been my favorite game. It came out in 94. I played it way more than I should have. I spent my entire senior year of high school playing that game. And then after that, they had a couple of sequels, but very quickly it sort of disappeared, and it's always been this beloved game. Just like it is for me, for a lot of people out there, it's their favorite game, and they've always said, why has this game not been made? Why haven't we made this game? And then I used to say that until I actually did it, and then I realized why nobody has ever done this again. Because
I was asking the same thing, because I'm with you, my favorite game.
Yeah, and it's, don't do it. That's what I'll say. If anybody's even thinking about it, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. No, it's just such a big game, all these different layers to it, and I think that's why it's so special to so many people, because you can do so many different things. But because of that, it's been a real challenge in a good way, I suppose, developing. We have all these elements that we have to make sure we include. Destructible environment. So, you've got this combat layer, right? You got the soldiers, and they go down there and they're fighting aliens, and that's a very video game thing, right? Soldiers fighting aliens. But in this game, there's totally destructible environment, so you can blow through walls, toss a grenade, blow a hole in a wall, and run your soldiers through.
Totally interactive environments.
Right, exactly.
Very
the battlefield is always changing, but over the top of that, then you also have a whole strategy layer where you're determining where you're going to fight the aliens, how you're going to expand satellite coverage, building up your jets to take the UFOs out of the skies, interacting with different countries around the world. And so it's just this really, really big, ornate, detailed game that I think that's what makes it so special, is because it's unique in that sense.
Yeah, and I am with you, man. I mean, I cannot say enough about how much I like XCOM. And I have been looking forward to the game that you were making for so long.
One sale right there. I have one sale.
Right here.
Actually, you're part of the company, so you're probably going to get it free. Damn. All right.
Well,
Just
it should still count.
Go ahead and buy one. Yes.
I wanted to let everyone know that is watching us on our Twitch TV channel to send in your questions for Jake. I can read your chat right here, so I'm going to be looking through it, finding questions, and if you send in some good questions, Jake will answer them.
If you get a question that's like, why don't you call me anymore, that's my mother. I'm just letting you know right now.
All right, well, I will pass that along.
I apologize,
We'll
Mom,
let you know.
I've been very busy.
All right, so let's start with kind of taking this game, and I mean, obviously, you're updating it.
Yes.
You are making a game that is for 2012. And what's the process of doing that? Of taking this, like, obviously you could just make the exact game and change the art, but that's not. You want to make a better game. So how do you do that? I mean, that's a hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do, and you have to be careful because of fans like yourself and myself. We have a lot of strong feelings about the game. We've always said that if you got 10 fans of the original game in a room and you said, what's the one thing that can't change? Somehow you'd come out with a list of like 15 things. It's a very fine line to where you want to keep the things that made the original great, and you have to still believe that those elements work for a modern audience because, and I think they do. I mean, I think we've seen that those elements like consequences of soldiers who die and don't come back, the environmental destruction, those elements from the original game, those still have to be there, but at the same time, you have to take into account that we have different hardware, we have a different potential audience, and you don't want to be cynical. We're not trying to make something to appeal to, we're not trying to get the most sales we can, but we're trying to appeal to new players who don't have any history with the game, new players who...
Like me.
Like you, right?
Yes.
If I said XCOM, that doesn't have any inherent value for you, but I still, there's still magic in that game that I think you could be introduced to.
Absolutely.
If the game is accessible, to start with, if you can learn at the right pace, if the pacing's right. So it's just a really hard balance between, staying true to the original game and at the same time updating it and making it accessible.
For sure. Like, for myself, I haven't played an XCOM game before, and it is a turn-based strategy, I believe, correct? I did get a little chance to play it a little while back, but they're working on it still, of course. Can you tell me a little bit about the gameplay strategy, like how that works? What people are going to do?
Yeah, and so, there's certainly the combat. The player goes in, kills the aliens, and then what they do is they recover these artifacts, the alien bodies, everything you see is usable. So you kill the aliens, you even want their bodies because you can sell those bodies, you can perform research on those bodies, you can perform alien autopsies, which everybody who believes in aliens, everybody wants to perform an autopsy. Well, you can do that in our game. You can capture aliens live, and then you can interrogate them. Their weapons, their armor, all these artifacts that the aliens have, those can all be brought back to the base. And then when you get back to base, your scientists can then research those things, and that will unlock new
other
technologies for you. Right, new weapons for you, new suits of armor, and it's this sort of continuing cycle. And you're always trying to manage, well, I want more scientists because I want to research that thing, but at the same time, I need engineers to build me that new jet so I can shoot down UFOs. All of that costs money. China's unhappy because I haven't helped them out in a while, and so the player's always just trying to manage this crisis around the world.
Lots of things going on, not just on the battlefield, but internationally as well.
Right.
Like you said, China, or countries.
Yeah. I mean, it's a global game. It's meant to be a very global experience. Your soldiers are from up to 25 different countries. You're interacting with 16 different countries around the world. You have to keep them happy. And so, it's got a very global feel to it. You're fighting around the world. You see missions in different regions and things like that.
Very cool.
All right. Got a question from the chat here for you. He wants to know, as a game designer, what was the most difficult mechanic to design while it's in production? What is the thing that is just giving you the most trouble to get right?
That's a really good question. Is that for my boss? This is my review. I think balance is very difficult. We wanted to add abilities to soldiers. We wanted to extend what individual soldiers can do. And so we give them, it's a common thing, right? Leveling up, right? Everybody knows how you can level up in RPGs. You get new abilities, you get new stats, new perks. But at the same time, in XCOM, your soldiers can die. I mean, I don't care how leveled up they are. If they run into the wrong alien and you make a tactical mistake, they can die. And as a player, I don't want the player to sit there and go, oh, reload the game. So instead, you have to run that fine line of making other soldiers useful, not burdening that character so much that the player feels like I don't have a choice, I have to reload the game. And so finding that balance between making a player love his soldiers but also letting them go when they die, that's challenging. And I think we found the balance. But that has definitely probably been the hardest part.
I always feel bad when I give my soldiers a custom name. At first I love doing that.
Right.
Oh, I'll name it after my friends and stuff, and then I start feeling bad.
Right. Then you feel terrified.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I let my wife die.
No.
Right.
I go, I don't think I want to name my soldiers anymore.
But
Can I name them Soldier 1, 2, and 3?
I know, right?
I highly recommend that. If you're the first time you play, what you need to do is name all your soldiers after friends and family members, because nothing ratchets the tension like seeing your mom facing off against a floater with nothing but a pistol, right? That's what increases that feeling of connection to your soul. But I think my favorite thing that we've added is talking about that connection with your soldiers, right? So I've really, really, really wanted to push that, and so we did a number of things to sort of foster a stronger emotional connection to your soldiers. So not gameplay, but emotionally. And so what happens is when your soldiers reach the rank of sergeant, they earn a new nickname, which can be customized. But a nickname's just one way. Now you're kind of like, oh, that's my guy Bull, or that's, mac and cheese, or whatever. I don't know what the nickname is. But
some food product.
Right, exactly, some food product. And then on top of that, whenever soldiers go into combat, their flag always draws on their back now, because we want you to start to, say like, oh, that's my Brazilian sniper right there.
Because you get soldiers from different countries.
Right,
so
exactly. Oh, that's
cool.
my Japanese support soldier. And so again, you start to foster this connection. On top of that, when you go back to base, you can actually see your soldiers in the base, and you can look around and they'll be in the bar, they'll be hanging out shooting some pool, they're running
really
on the
cool.
treadmill. So it's the sort of thing where, again, it just really increases that connection, to where even if you lose them, you can go to the memorial and all this bagpipe music starts playing. You can see their names and like when they died, and then you start to see all these pictures like filling in behind them. You start to see like shot glasses lining up on the bar. So it's the sort of thing where, again, we just
Very
wanted
detailed.
we just
all
want to
those
like
little things.
Little things that, again, just sort of like foster that connection.
So someone is asking about the flat top haircut Marines. Like one of the most iconic things, at least for me, that I remember from XCOM was that Marine. And is he getting in the game? I believe we just announced.
He is. He's like a special. If you pre-order, right? That's part of the pre-order package. In addition to other things, you get the classic flat top haircut, which was like the only armor your guys had in the original game. Was like whatever you shellac your hair with in that to get it to stand up like that. That was what they came with in the original game. So yeah, I'm personally very, very excited. I know a lot of hardcore fans are excited to see that make a return.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing I thought. I was like, I wonder if they're going to put that guy in, because I mean, that was
yeah, how could you
just
not?
So memorable. I think the art was so like low resolution back then that like for some reason it stood out.
Yeah, his hair was like 4 feet tall. It was like the Jersey Shore blowout. It's like this huge wall of hair, and
you couldn't miss it.
Right.
So yeah, so if you pre-order the game, you get guaranteed access to the launch bonus, which part of that is the haircut.
Yep.
Very cool.
You get you get several aesthetic upgrades to your guys. And we'll answer the question some people have asked in the past, will that launch bonus give you any bonuses mechanically in the game, like better guns to kill the aliens with? And I did confirm with the dev team that the answer is no, only aesthetic upgrades. We are not, there is no such thing as easy mode in XCOM.
No.
That's true.
You can't buy your way to win. This one's definitely, it's going to be awesome aesthetic upgrades, but yeah, I mean, there's no easy way to get around those aliens.
Yeah, and that is the way XCOM has to be.
Yeah, in fact, you'll do worse, because that's what real fans want. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, speaking of what fans want,
yes?
I want to know, how much do you listen to the community and read the forums and such when developing a game like this?
A fair amount, actually. I mean, I think that the team is always very, very interested in, we're in a bubble by ourselves for a while, a couple of years. Nobody knows that we're working on this, and sort of in our bubble, we're doing our own thing, and then you announce, and the response has been, I mean, frankly, it's been overwhelming for the team and for me, myself. And so certainly a lot of the reason we're making this game is because of the community. I mean, there would not be an XCOM without the community, and I know that, and the team knows that, and we take that very, very seriously. I mean, that's our ideal customer in mind. And so we certainly, now that we have the opportunity to listen to feedback from them, we do. I mean, we read the boards, and there are it's a lot of really insightful comments out there, and we certainly take that in. We filter it. I mean, when people said, one of the things that people said were, oh, can we turn off the action cams? Can we turn off those zoomy cameras? And we hadn't even thought of that, because our experience with them was like, oh, they're great, we love them. But, we heard from fans, and they said, oh, I would love to be able to turn that off. And that came directly from community feedback. We said, okay, we can do that for you guys. And so, yeah, we always keep that kind of stuff in mind, and we certainly try and keep up to date on that, because, again, without the community and that core group of fans, I mean, we wouldn't be standing here. This game wouldn't be getting made.
So you've heard it from the lead designer yourself. All you have to do is go to the 2K forums, say you want something in the game, and he'll put it in.
Oh, boy.
Yes, email him directly with all of your commentary. All the things
Greg.
that you don't like, email him directly. He'll make sure to pass it along.
Gosh. So one of the things that really caught my eye about XCOM are the vast array of different aliens
Yes.
you have in there.
Many
and
aliens.
I want to know more about the aliens.
We have a plethora of aliens, and we have revealed quite a few at this point. So it's kind of a mix of guys from the classic game, and then we've introduced some new ones as well.
Good.
My personal favorite, and this is one we've just revealed, and I think everybody knew this one was going to be in the game, but he's called the Chrysalid, and we've
I've heard
updated the
about these
look of
guys.
him, right? So in the original
Okay.
game, he was a big gray crab, and he had this killer grin. Like, he always had this like rictus grin, which was terrifying. And the way the Chrysalid works is, and we sort of updated him to become this sort of spidery monster.
Right.
And I think he's still in the same vein as the original.
Okay.
And the great thing about the Chrysalid is that, I mean, it's a fate worse than death. If the Chrysalid gets a hold of your soldiers, the line is, if you can see one, you're already dead, because they can cover the entire battleground in one move.
So basically, you don't want to get too close. But even
Not
that's
at
not
all.
even safe
Even that's
enough.
not safe.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
they can leap up onto buildings. We've given them a new ability to where, like, you can't like run up to get away from them, because they will just leap up behind you. They move in packs, and the best thing about them is that when they kill one of your soldiers, they then infect him with a new Chrysalid egg, which zombifies your soldier. So a guy who was just fighting on your side will now get up
Oh my God.
as a zombie and come hunting his former comrades, and you have to take that zombie out, because if you don't take him out before the egg hatches, he turns into a new full-grown Chrysalid. And so
in other words, are you going to lose this soldier that was already,
Oh,
I mean, you're going to have to kill your own guy?
He's long gone. You need to put bullets in him at this point. And even better, Chrysalids will actually go after civilians. And so if you're on a terror mission and they see civilians, they're going to see that as an opportunity to sort of produce more Chrysalids. And so they will go after any human target they see. So in terror missions, you got all these civilians running around, and it can turn into a nightmare fast, because they'll jump on the civilians. All of a sudden, you've got all these new Chrysalids popping up everywhere. So it can really, really turn south quickly. That's
nuts.
One of my favorite aliens. And we knew we had to bring the Chrysalid back. And we've got a lot of different aliens as well, but we sort of like, you've got the strong, brute mutant aliens. We've got the robotic aliens like the Cyberdisc, who's this mini UFO who can transform and has different abilities and different shapes. We've got the little gray aliens, which everybody expects, the sectoids.
You're going to see.
Yeah, so
sectoids.
it's just got a really wide range of aliens. Some that fly, some that fire the weapons at you. So we got a lot. Catch them all.
All right.
Can I say that? Catch them all. No.
I don't know. Oh, well.
I don't
All right.
know.
Well, we'll beep that. Can we beat that? Oh, it's already happened.
All
Sorry.
right.
Oh, all
Too
right.
bad.
One of my favorite things, I've actually played a fair amount of XCOM Enemy Unknown since, it's one of my perks of working at this company.
Right.
I was saying to some people earlier, in fact, that, I've kind of stopped looking forward to a lot of games. I'm just overwhelmed by the number of games.
Right.
So I just kind of play what's out there currently.
Right.
But if I didn't work at 2K, XCOM Enemy Unknown would be one of the ones that breaks me from that. I would be like, I can't wait until October.
I think we have a benefit of we just are very different, and that can be scary, but it's
Absolutely.
also the sort of thing that it's an opportunity. I mean, I'm happy to make something. Like when we set out to make this, we weren't trying to, reinvent it. We were sort of writing a love letter to the original game with this one. And then it's kind of exciting because of that, like, we stand out the way we look, the mechanics that you play with. It's something that if you're looking for a new experience, we can say without cynicism, not as a marketing line, we can tell people honestly, we can offer you a different play experience than a lot of what you'd had. People say this, but really there's nothing like XCOM. Like, it is its own kind of game, and so...
even since XCOM came out, there are almost no games in that genre.
Right,
very few.
Very few games.
Which is why people wanted a new one so badly all these years.
Right, and it's just kind of, it's fun to be in that position where we're not trying to, You know, we're not trying to say like, oh, we're like this game and like that game. We can't even say that. We're sort of like, we're just like XCOM, you know? And I think people have responded to that.
So, one of my favorite things is the new abilities that the soldiers have.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that it's mutually exclusive upgrade path where
Right.
you know you're going to lose out on abilities. So, and you don't really, especially the first time playing, you don't really know what's coming up ahead.
Right.
You don't know what
Right.
you might want in the future. You'd be like, oh, that ability's no good. And then
Right.
all of a sudden later you're like, I
You
wish
needed
I
it.
I wish I
Yeah.
had that, yeah.
So, of all those abilities of the different classes and stuff, what is your favorite that you've gotten to play with?
Oh, man, my favorite
There are a lot of
ability.
options.
Yeah, I mean, this is one we've talked about before. I'm trying to think. I mean, Squad Sight, which is a sniper ability, that is really, really powerful. And now it's it's a trade-off. So your sniper gets this ability called Squad Sight. And if you choose that, then the sniper can shoot anyone that any of his allies can see. So on the right map, you can park your sniper up on top of a building and then shoot the entire distance of the map. And so your sniper becomes this godlike figure on a roof with a height advantage, just drilling enemies left and right. But the trade-off there is that if you choose Squad Sight, you don't choose Snapshot, which is the ability for the sniper to move and shoot in the same turn.
Oh, that is a tough
key.
trade-off.
Which is key because otherwise your
That's
sniper.
been the hardest thing about playing the sniper.
Right, is the sniper becomes situationally unstoppable, but in some cases, because he can't move and shoot, when you're in tight quarters, he has to switch to his pistol, and he's not tactically as useful. And so it's the sort of thing where it's a really hard trade-off. But choices like that make it really fun.